Good morning, Morning Musings by Melinda. Hey, thank God it's Friday, right? Although I'm so lucky and blessed, I get to go to Eric's house tomorrow. Eric's house is a wonderful organization where I spend some time talking to people who've lost loved ones from suicide and drug addiction or alcoholism or murder. And so I'm blessed to associate with Marianne Govea, who really runs a wonderful organization. And if you want to look at it, it's ericshouse.org. So I'll be there all day tomorrow, giving some readings and making some connections. Have you ever heard that slang, when somebody wants you to understand them and they say, "You feel me?" Well, right now we all feel each other because holy mackerel, there's a lot of things happening that just makes your head explode. I saw on the news yesterday that here in Arizona, we've got a travel ban because our COVID-19 cases are up so high, and the mayors of many cities are now making masks mandatory. I've got a beautiful mask today. It is peacock. Anyways, I thought about that word, I feel you, and I thought, well, besides the frustrations that we're feeling right now, which we really have to take into consideration what's going on with our vibrational frequency. And I've talked to you about vibrational frequencies before, but when you are anchored in fear and anger and divisiveness and nasty rhetoric, your vibrational frequency is very, very low. It's as low as it can go when you're nasty, when you say mean things, when you're putting things out on Facebook that is fearful and fear-driven and talking in ways that are trying to make other people feel uncomfortable about their decisions or each other's decisions, and that's a low frequency of energy. In order for us to combat what's going on right now, we have to move our frequency of energy into the highest vibration it can move to, filled with love and light and understanding and collaboration and, honor and in non-judgment and in a way that lets, everybody do what they think is right for themselves and not get carried away with, all of this kind of, hurtful language. So what's your vibrational frequency today? And so I thought, what are the things that frustrate us under normal circumstances, when we're not living in a COVID-19 situation, or we're not still trying to find, for God's sakes, it's taken us so many years to still find the equality of human beings. So what are the frustrations of life that you need to let go? So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how I feel ya. So, have you ever had that time? Number one is when you knew you were right. Have you ever had that time when you knew you were right and somebody was saying no, and it just drove you crazy and you had to go look it up and prove you were right? And yeah, you know what? That's a frustration that you can let go of, because what difference does it make? I happen to be a person that suffers a little bit from self-righteous indignation. It's part of my shadow side that, man, I have to look at. I think that we all have to look at our shadow side in order for our vibrations to move, and we all have a shadow side. Nothing wrong with admitting what yours is, but, when we have that kind of feeling like, hey, we're right, we got to prove it, yeah, you kind of got to let that stuff go. How about the frustration with that ugly body part? That ugly body part of yours that you feel always sticks out, whether it's your nose or your weight or your ears or whatever. Well, you know what? Nobody is perfect. And what we see on TV and what we see in magazines, yeah, that's not perfect. It's called the airbrush. And you know what? Who wants a perfect person anyway? Because, gosh darn it, sometimes you can look absolutely beautiful on the outside and there's not a thing going on the inside. You know what I mean? Do you feel me? Okay, number 3, the joke that went too far, like the last one that I just gave you. Sometimes that just drives us crazy. Somebody goes on and on with a joke and says stuff over and over again. It drives you crazy. It's annoying. My husband is an expert at bad dad jokes. Getting cut off by driving is number 4, when somebody cuts in front of you. And it's gotten, again, way out of hand in today's society where people are shooting each other for that stuff. Who cares? Just let the person get in front of you. When you did not get the credit that you deserve is the number 5 on the top 20 frustrations that we feel. And I understand that. Like, everybody wants to be validated and to get the credit that they deserve. But sometimes maybe you just have to give credit to yourself and let that be enough in order for your vibration to be high. Not taking a chance. Number 6 is important to me. And the reason is because I talk to dead people. And when I talk to somebody on the other side, first of all, I want you to know that caskets don't have pockets, so you don't take the money with you. What you do take with you is the love, but it's never something that someone has done that they failed at, that they regret. It's the chance that they didn't take. And so remember that as you're living life to your fullest, and remember that as you're moving your vibration into a high vibration. Okay, bad restaurant food. Oh my goodness, have you ever had that friend that goes to a restaurant with you and no matter where you go, complains about the food? Hey, people have an off night. Don't hold on to it. We got a takeout order from a restaurant that we thoroughly enjoy every time. And all 3 of us, McKenna and Bill and I, said, hey, not that good tonight. But we certainly didn't hang on to it. And we're just letting that go. Number 8, this is an interesting one, not paying somebody back. Here it says you were broke and going through a tough financial time and the years have passed and now there's a rift in the relationship and the money is not going to help. Do not be afraid to acknowledge that you messed up to a person whom you owe money to. Maybe send them a gift or a card. Well, you know what? Communication is the key. If you're still broke, can I give you $2 a week, $5 a week, whatever? Or gee, if you just forgot about it, fess up. Sometimes communication is the key. And so I feel you if you're frustrated about something that you did in the past and you want to correct. But one of the premises of Alcoholics Anonymous is to take and make amends to people. And you don't have to be an alcoholic to do that. Sometimes you need to do that just in life. Number 9, when you've said too much. Have you ever said something to somebody like they were sharing and complaining about their significant other, and then you agreed with them and told them something in addition, and then they stayed with their significant other? Oh, wow, that's a form of, I wish I hadn't done that. And I feel ya, because, the truth is that discretion is the better part of valor. Sometimes you have to listen and understand without putting your own take on it. Okay, the cooking disaster. I usually have a huge Thanksgiving the Sunday before Thanksgiving. I call it friends and family. We have a great time. Year before last, I had everybody bring a dish. I'm going to do that again this year because last year the caterer actually messed up. And don't think that I am a big deal that I get a caterer. It was something that I was... Never mind. It's a long story. You can feel me. But the turkeys were not done, and there were things that I was embarrassed about in front of my group of people. And then I thought, who the hell cares? This is friends and family. There's 40 of us, and next time we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, the way they did it. And, maybe the universe was spanking me for showing off like that. 11, when you were lied to, betrayal is brutal, and when you get sucker punched, remember that old saying, hurt people hurt people. And so if you hold on to that frustration, then it's not doing anything but poisoning you, and you can't hold on to a grudge. It's ridiculous. So, let go of that. A spending spree, do you ever regret one of those where you've spent something, buyer's remorse? This one is really important to me. When you did not stand up for something. Yeah. That's a frustration that we all have to consider right now. Do you feel like standing up for something but not doing it in a nasty or a non-collaborative way? Sometimes when you talk in a common sense way and help people come to some kind of an agreement, you're still standing up and you're standing out in a way that doesn't mean that you are... being inappropriate, I guess is the word I want to use. So remember, if you want to stand up for something, do it, and do it with integrity, not keeping promises, traffic jams, getting fired. What the bully said in 5th grade. I looked at that frustration what the bully said in 5th grade. Kids believe what they're told, right? And so if you're told something, you may manifest it. And so when the bully tells you something, you may hold on to that forever. And that's a frustration that you totally have to let go of. And I understand why people hang on to those things, because they have a wounded inner child. And if your inner child is wounded, do something about it. Don't just sit around and let your inner child rule your life. Go get some therapy and figure out why you believe what you believe and how you behave in a manner that isn't serving you, and why you revert back to a 6 or a 10 or 11 or a 15-year-old. When you gave up too soon is a source of frustration. Hey, how about this one? Saying I love you. You know, geez, never be upset because you said that you love somebody. Isn't that the highest compliment that you can give? Is to say, I love you. And when you love somebody, say it. You know, there's all kinds of different love. I'm thinking that this is when you said it when you didn't need to, but I think saying love is always necessary. So I'm not so sure that this one is really something where there's a source of frustration. And last is the irony, all captured brilliantly in that song that says, it's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride when you've already paid. It's the good advice that you just didn't take. Life is indeed full of paradoxes. Rather than fight fate, it probably better to embrace it. So, the universe speaks to you in synchronicity, in smooth energy, in showing you the direction. And when things fall into place, that means you're supposed to go in that direction. When they don't, you're not. And the irony of it is that sometimes we just fight the universe too. And with that, I feel, these are all part of humanness and frustrations that we all share. Right now, we've got to stop being frustrated with each other, honoring each other, staying in integrity, stop fighting, stop being in a situation where we're giving each other such a hard time. I think, we can all agree that we're fighting an enemy that we can't see, and that has put us all on edge. And then there are enemies that we can see, and that's putting us all on edge. And the enemies that we can see isn't a whole group. Like, it's not a whole group. It's just certain things. Did you know that actually there are two different types of policemen? Policemen who are really in to protect and serve, and that's the majority. And then policemen that go into the field so that they can bully and intimidate people. It's the same with teachers, by the way. Most teachers are fantastic, but there's a group of people that are drawn to that field because they're bullies and they want to control others. The same thing with priests or ministers. Most of them are great, but there are groups of people that are drawn to that field so that they control other people's lives. The same thing with counselors and psychiatrists and psychologists. Most of them are really sincerely trying to help people, but there is a group of them that just wants to control people and manipulate them. So think about that. There's shadow in every single group. So anyway, I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful weekend. It's Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to my Father in heaven. Happy Father's Day to my beautiful and wonderful husband, Bill. And happy Father's Day to all of you, and have a great weekend.